Welcome to 843 TV. I'm your host, Lisa Richardson. We are coming to you from downtown Beaufort at the Waterfront Park, and we're here at the brand new Day Dock. Joining us today are our own mayor, Billy Keyserling, and also the new town manager, Linda Roper, here to share all about the new exciting projects, the streetscapes, all happening right here in downtown Beaufort. So stick around and join us for this episode of 843 TV, where communities come to speak.
843 TV, where Bluffton comes to speak.
Where Spring Island comes to speak.
Where Hilton Head Island comes to speak.
Where Beaufort comes to speak.
TV,
where communities come to speak. Welcome to 843 TV. We are so excited today to be here downtown Beaufort at the Beaufort Waterfront Park, and behind us is an absolutely gorgeous view and a very special new project that we're going to talk about today with our two guests, Mayor Billy Keyserling and Linda Roper, who's the downtown manager. Great to have us. Thank you for having us out here today.
Thank you.
Well, we've got so many exciting things happening in Beaufort, which we're going to cover in our show today. Here in our first segment, let's talk about this exciting new project that is right behind us, the new Day Dock. Mayor Billy, let's start us off. Share a little bit about what the dock is for.
Well, you know, new projects always bring their opportunities and their challenges.
Of course.
We call this the Waterfront Park now. It's really the Henry C. Chambers Waterfront Park.
Mm-hmm.
And this beautiful park years ago was very controversial. Well, the Day Dock was very controversial because there were some who were concerned that we're going to ruin the ambiance, we were going to change the Beaufort, we were going to change the vista. And so 28 years ago, when I was on the parking committee on Main Street, Beaufort, I said there's nothing we can do about parking. I mean, it's the same old story since 1936. But we've got all these people who live close to Beaufort.
Yes.
Close to downtown, but from Hilton Head, Bluffton, Defusky, Dautaw, Edisto Beach, Charleston, who like to come to Beaufort by boat. So why don't we create a parking lot for boats?
For boats.
So
there
that
you
people
go.
can come downtown another way. And that's how we started. And but it literally took 28 years through three different commissions, three different studies, all citizen driven. And finally, I think council decided that with our civic master plan and with our vision, that one of the gaps was making downtown Beaufort more boater friendly.
Absolutely.
When I grew up, before this park was here, we were sitting where there were shrimp boat docks. They were working docks. They built the park, but then they built a wall between the water, and so the idea was, let's make it more boater friendly.
Well, it's brand new. It just opened up. Linda, share a little bit about when that opened up and how we want people to use the dock.
We opened up on the afternoon of Taste of Beaufort, which was May 4th, which is only about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it has been used and utilized on the weekends where it is full almost all day long. The boaters are coming in, and they're coming and parking and going and eating and shopping, and then they're getting back out on the river and enjoying the river. But they enjoy our downtown too.
Sounds like an incredible day for me, that's for sure. So they can come down. There's no overnight parking for your boat though, correct?
Correct. There is no docking between 1 and 6 a.m.
Okay.
So you can come down in the evening and enjoy a nice dinner too, and have a nice boat cruise back home. But you can actually enjoy it at night.
Absolutely. Well, like you said, it's an effort to bring more people in a different way to the beautiful things that are right here. This park is gorgeous. There's a playground that opened up a few years ago for young kids. There's lots of shops. So I think it's a wonderful idea. Let's talk about the funding. Of course, that's always a question.
Let me put in one other point though, because
Sure.
as we transition to funding, part of the rationale also in the grants, because they're federal grants with some state support matches, is that it's also for transient boaters. For someone who may be coming through like that 40-foot beautiful Trumpy that just came through a few minutes ago, antique yacht. can stop for a couple of hours, experience our downtown or reprovision without having to clutter the transit dock at the downtown marina, which is where you pay. So it's for both locals. That was the origin of the idea. But when you looked at the grant and you looked at the needs to keep the transit docks open for people who are going to buy fuel or people who are paying to stay, the idea that these transit boaters could hop off, come see downtown. I've been up and down the waterway before, and there's a lot of places you can get off your boat, but there are not a lot of places where you can get off the boat with such a welcome mat and the kinds of restaurants and shopping we have.
So you've been open.
Linda, you talk about the dollars.
What kind of grant, how did the money come to fruition to pull off such a great project?
It was funded through the boating infrastructure grant, and as Mayor Keyserling said, that it is really designed for, part of that funding is to allow 26-foot and over boats to be able to have access to our downtown. And so it was a matching grant. The cost of the construction is a little over $500,000, but it's a federal grant, I believe. So,
as far as deciding on the placement of the dock, with the tides and the currents, did you use a team of engineers to help decide on just the right location?
Well, we had licensed engineers and we had unlicensed engineers.
Okay.
In the end, we ended up with a licensed engineer who was a marine engineer who's been involved in the repairs underneath the waterfront park, repairs in the marina. If you notice, I was coming down the bluff the other day. The mooring field's only a year and a half old, and it's full as the boats come and go. With sailboats, it's easier, it's less expensive. They can pull a hook, pull a mooring up, and stay. So all of a sudden, I came down last Sunday, riding my Vespa, of course, and I looked out, and there we have the mooring field full. We've got transits fueling at the marina dock, and we've got this place full. And we're sort of there. We will in the future be making some improvements to the marina, but it's all part of a waterfront community being even more waterfront friendly.
Well, I know I'm going to try it out from Bluffton. I'm excited about it, and I know that you all want to come down and check it out too. Stay right here. We're going to be back with more 843 TV from downtown Beaufort. Welcome back to 843 TV. We are excited today to be here at the waterfront in downtown Beaufort with a new day dock behind us. And joining us is our Mayor Billy Keyserling and Linda Roper, the town manager. And now we're going to talk a little bit about the improvements to the roadways as you enter the historic area. It's been quite a process. I know lots and lots of improvements on Boundary Street and Carteret. Share with us a little bit about where we are.
Sure. We have new announcements and we have new completions, but these are old ideas. And finally the city has been able to really get focused on doing things, setting a set of goals and accomplishing them. But about 10 years ago it was agreed, and we went through months of citizen participation and charrettes and design reviews to say that downtown Beaufort, this deserves a better gateway than what Highway 21/Boundary Street is. That you would come down Highway 21 Boundary Street and you'd think you were entering Anywhere USA.
Yeah.
Because this is your destination. So for safety reasons, it wasn't safe to have a 5-lane road with a suicide lane. Environmentally, it wasn't good to have drainage that was getting into the water before it's supposed to get into the creek. That was one of our most damaged. The only really damaged water is the headwaters of Battery Creek that's been cleaned up now. And then was an appropriate gateway to the best hometown in the world. And so designers worked on it, then engineers worked on it, then city council worked on it, then the public worked on it, and we came up with a plan. And this is about a 10-year process. But finally we have our new gateway, a little more planting, a little more watering of the plants. We still have about 3 acres on the south side of the street where you're going to get a panorama, a vista of what Beaufort's about, which is open spaces, marsh views, live oak trees. The whole side on the south side of the road is going to be an expanded Battery Park is now becoming. You'll notice the Huddle House, which had closed and wasn't going back, is gone. You'll notice that the old fire station that was a warehouse is gone. You'll notice that a gas station that wanted to close is gone. Wendy's will be moving, and the United Way grew out of their building and it's being used by the county. But eventually, all the way from the Ruby Tuesday site into the cemetery, 16 Gate Cemetery, is going to be a passive park, but there'll be parking so that you can actually stop. Be a few benches, but no playgrounds, no activities. So as you come into Beaufort, you're going to see, a line of oak trees and planted medians spread out with palmettos, 15,000 plants planted there. Probably the most important thing that Linda may want to talk about as well is where people finally, after 2 years of construction, people finally got it, was when the overhead utilities came out of the ground. Mm-hmm. When that last set of telephone poles, power poles, came out of the ground. So June 1st, we'll cut a ribbon at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
It's a Friday. We hope the public will come with us and celebrate. And from the point of view of mayor and city council, we can put another check in a box and say the issue now, which is not insignificant, is going to be to keep it maintained.
Of course.
As we keep our park maintained, as a city, though small, very proud of who we are, what we are, and what we offer.
Did you really expect that moving all the utility poles would make such an impact on that gateway?
Well, Linda, I'm a believer, I did. But I was surprised as they came down that it really, when you have a project that goes so long and you have this expectation and you go through the drudgery, the inconvenience, some of the merchants were inconvenienced, some of the commuters were inconvenienced. By and large, it was pretty tame. People did use an alternative route. People, you get complaints from the people who normally complain, which is their right, and we listen and we respond. But as they, you have this dream, and all of a sudden you don't know that you're getting there. And in 2 days, when the second set of poles on the north side came down, it was a new place. It was exactly what we wanted. But you're right, it shocked me when I first saw it.
It did, and plenty of residents had so much to say about it when the day after it came down. It was amazing.
They finally, even though we've still got punch lists, we've still got some planting, some manicuring to do, I think finally, 10 years now, people realize they got what they forgot they asked for, but through the public charrettes and stuff, they wanted 10 years ago. We've been through it, and I'm very proud of it.
Let's talk about that area around the National Cemetery, the paving and into Carteret Street. Was that part of the original plan? Share with us a little bit about that.
No. Well, the roads are owned by SCDOT, and they have repaving schedules. And we were fortunate that our project manager coordinated with a subcontractor who was doing the SCDOT paving from the bridge to Green Lawn Drive to match it with the paving of the Boundary Street redevelopment project. So it was seamless. People only hurt for one street repaving, even though it was longer than separate. And obviously it makes it, if the road surface is the same as is fresh, it's going to make it connect.
And all roads are paved to downtown.
How about that?
Isn't
That's
that cool?
quite a saying, isn't it?
Yeah.
Y'all have to come check it out and see the beautiful new roadways and the walking sidewalks that you can walk and enjoy it along the way. Stay right here. We'll be back with more 843 TV from downtown Beaufort. Welcome back to 843 TV here at the Beaufort waterfront, and we're talking with Mayor Billy and Town Manager Linda about all the nice, exciting projects happening. We've talked about the dock behind us, the new improvements to the streets. Let's talk about what else is happening in downtown. Mayor, start us off.
Well, you know, to start with, downtown manager.
Linda's new, right?
She started in 1711 when Beaufort was founded.
Oh gosh.
Linda's been with the city for many years, and she's had many different roles. And her portfolio as the city manager, with council support, said we've got so many different moving pieces downtown. We've always relied on the volunteer groups and been funding them, but maybe we ought to focus that money much more specifically. So Linda, who, as I said, had a number, I laugh because she refereed the carriage tour awards when she was the tourism coordinator, but has become what we call the downtown manager. So that the functions of downtown, whether it's marketing, recruiting new businesses, supporting existing businesses, park, the issues really come under one person, so there's a central point. That's Linda.
That's quite an exciting role, it sounds like to me,
It
to
is.
manage all these wonderful things, all the new things and all the activities. Another issue that probably is on people's mind is you got all these things, but what about parking? Tell us about the parking, and is there plans for additions to that and so on?
Well, of course, we've always had parking issues. That's always been a topic of conversation throughout the years. And we still have some issues with parking, but the parking garage probably is not in our plans for the near future. So, but to increase parking, what we're looking at is possibly getting some remote lots and allowing parkers to park remotely. And we have a shuttle service that is in a temporary state that they're testing it out. Where we can provide a shuttle service and bring the parkers from these remote locations to our downtown, make it a little bit easier for your visitors to come in and know they can park and get some movement downtown.
I know that would be especially helpful when you have your festivals, like you just had a taste of Beaufort, you have the water festival coming up, and those are challenging times to park, but other times of the year, other times of the summer, tell us where people can park easily.
Let me just add one thing to what Linda said. I always have to do that.
Of
I'm
course,
sorry.
you can, because you're the mayor.
You know, the shuttle is very exciting. It was recommended by the most recent parking task force, but quite frankly, it was undertaken, initiated, and paid for initially by Historic Beaufort Foundation, Santa Elena, the Beaufort History Museum, and the tour company.
Spirit of Old Beaufort.
Spirit of Old Beaufort. And they have demonstrated that in terms of moving people from their places, they use public parking, and so it sort of took the idea that the Parking Commission gave. If we can partner with it, it'll make it a lot easier by having a shuttle. You know, 3 blocks is really not too much to walk, but for some people it may be. And so if we have less expensive remote lots, meaning 3 blocks, 4 blocks, 5
Right.
blocks, not
to Bound
not
the
in Burton, that people will use them. So it'll be an incentive to do that.
Let's talk about what is involved with maintaining everything. I'm sure this is part of your role now. What about the staff? What about the maintaining the beautiful landscape that we're sitting in front of in all these areas?
Well, it's a daily task that we have actually contracted with a landscaping company to take care of our beautiful park. It does cost a lot, but it's a daily. It's daily paying attention to what's going on, and
Sure.
but it's very important because Waterfront Park is a place that almost all visitors at least come and visit at least one time during their stay, and you want it to be presentable and keep it up and always be paying attention and making sure that it's available for festivals, it's clean, it's pristine. And so it does take a lot.
And I will add, it does look like that now. It's very pristine, it's very clean, it's very well managed and landscaped. So you're doing a beautiful job with that. Now, saying all that, for tourism, obviously you've got all this. What efforts are you making to promote this new and improved Beaufort, in a sense, to tourists?
Well, I think one of our initiatives right now is to really have promote and market our downtown businesses. We really want to have a vibrant downtown. Some of the things that we've heard is when you stay downtown, you want to be able to have some vibrancy and have something to do. And actually the merchants have newly formed an association to try to start some of those events and bringing people down so you know what's here to shop and enjoy. And so we've begun where they have a First Friday event, and the stores stay open from 5 to 8, and people can shop and eat and enjoy downtown. The visitors have something to do. There's usually some sort of entertainment in the stores. Also, once a quarter, we're planning on a street closure, which means that we can bring performers out into the street and actually have a lot of fun during that First Friday.
Sure,
so
absolutely.
we're marketing that. We're trying to make sure that we entice businesses to come down. And a business will invest or come if they know that there's these regular events and something that are going on.
Right.
Speaking of all that, where can people find that information? Calendar of events coming up? Is there a website?
There is a calendar of events at the Chamber of Commerce that actually it is linked to. So you can go on and not only find out what's going on down here, but also in surrounding areas.
Mayor Bailey, share with us some final thoughts before
Well, just two things. First is we have to get out of the notion that downtown's 3 blocks.
Yes.
Because if you look what's happening along Carteret Street with the building restored, a new building, some buildings on the market now, the building the city purchased where we have the Beaufort Digital Corridor, or Linda Park Beaufort, where we're getting efficiencies. So downtown really runs from Bay Street to Boundary Street, and you're going to start to see with the university, the dormitories going that, we're going to tie the two together without interrupting the residential neighborhoods in between. And the second thing is that we've in the process of reorganizing our arrangement with the Chamber of Commerce, which has served as the Chamber of Commerce plus the Tourism Bureau, and now it'll be an independent Visitors and Convention Bureau, and Linda's staff has been buttressed to do a little more precise marketing, a little bit more working with individual businesses and recruiting new businesses. So we're adding to everything we've always done.
Great. Well, there's so much to talk about, but we're out of time for today.
Oh, come
but
on.
We're excited to come back, and thank you for having us here at this beautiful spot. And thank you all for watching this episode of 843 TV, where communities come to speak.